I'm gonna play the audio again for Division, and the new people in the room. If you want to come up here, you can come up here. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the audio. And even to my 20-year-old self, I hate how I allowed myself to just be. And even to my 20-year-old self, I hate how I allowed myself to just be like used up by men. And that came from a lack of self-worth. I did not understand my value that I was born with. I didn't. And I gave, again, people look at sex differently, but sex is spiritual unification. At the end of the day, I don't care how you spin it. It's spiritual.
For women.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
for
women.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. For women, it's spiritual unification. And people that I shared my body with, when I think about my list, it's repulsive because they didn't deserve it. But that was an outcome of me discounting my worth. And it's disgusting. I hate even having that spiritual tie in any type of way. But yeah, I would absolutely change sexually how I move around. And not even necessarily because of like the societal outcome. It's more so from my self-worth.
What's how it makes you like feel?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good knowing that you gave a sacred part of you to a man that looked at sex with you as taking a piss. It's not fulfilling. It's disgusting to think about. And I feel like I've beat myself up every single day for my decisions. And what people say about me online holds no candle to what I've told myself on a daily basis. Like I've been called worse by better, and that better be me. Like I have talked down to myself, and I felt like I was unworthy for a very long time. And I would say this is more of a recent awareness, like in the past year, where I'm like, Brittany, you were always enough. Like you never had to seek validation outside of you. You never had to look that far. And that's what I would tell myself. I would and try to tell women, you should really think about who you're laying down with. Like, and that is a more traditional view, but it's like sex is not even worth it if they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They have no desire to. They don't want to know your favorite color. They don't. Hold on. The audio just go up. Hate how I allowed that far. And that's what I would tell myself. I would and try to tell women, you should really think about who you're laying down with. Like, and that is a more traditional view, but it's like sex is not even worth it if they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They have no desire to. They don't want to know your favorite color. They don't give a shit. So why do you want them over top of you? Again, that's come from. Why the fuck is the audio going on right here? Hold on. And even to my 20-year-old self, how I allow. And sometimes that's why the used goods comments, they sting. Because you know what? There are times I felt like that. I feel like the new toy that now is unexciting and put away in a box. So I just have to accept what I've done and move forward with this awareness and just know that, okay, the guy that most likely, that I'm not looking for a husband, I'm looking for my husband, and there's a difference. That guy is going to be a very small percentage, and I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with the things I've done. But I will say, moving forward, like talking to any girl, to you, and, whoever's listening, it's like you really should think about why you're doing what you're doing. Really think about, why am I attracting that? What part of me is resonating with a guy like that? And even to my 20-year-old self. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got Brittany Renner up here. Some of y'all may know Brittany Renner. Some of y'all may not be familiar with her. Listen, Brittany is 30 years old. Listen, Brittany been out here on the scene. Someone that has had relationships, situationships, sexcapades, with a lot of high profile men. Say, what are high profile men? Entertainers, athletes, men that make millions, tens of millions of dollars a year.
She's been lucky enough to have these experiences with these men. Um, you know, she dated Colin Kaepernick. She dated Uzi. She currently has a baby by PJ Washington, 24-year-old brother in the league right now. She is 30, he is 24, ladies and gentlemen. This woman, when this man was fresh out of high school at the University of Kentucky, high major Division I basketball school, this woman was taking flights out to Lexington, going to the games, supporting this man. Again, at 24, 25 years old, she was, you know, lusting after an 18-year-old. I don't really know too many average. I don't think the average 24, 25-year-old woman is going to be lusting after an 18-year-old, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she got pregnant by him. They got a baby now. She's a single mother. He just had another baby. He's engaged to be married. Y'all know Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, former coach at Jackson State, now coach at Colorado. Deion Sanders actually had her come, I think it was last football season. He had her come and talk to his team and basically tell them, as Division I athletes, a lot of women are going to be dealing with you for a lot of different reasons. They're going to have a lot of different motives, because of what your future could possibly be. So you need to be aware of that. You need to be mindful of these women. So here's a photo of her talking to the team. And she also wrote a book. She wrote a book about, like I said, the sexcapades, the relationships that she's had, with some of these high profile men. And she was on a podcast recently. Some lady has a big platform. She was on that woman's podcast, and she said what she had to say in the audio that I just played, y'all. So I have 4 true or false statements here, and we're gonna see what Division has to say about them. So, Division, what's good, G?
What up? What up?
All right, let's get into it. So, my first statement is: women are more than aware of how valuable they are and the value they're born with. True or false?
Slow it down for me one more time. Women are more aware.
Women are more than aware of how valuable they are and the value they're born with. True or false?
True. Easily. I feel like, especially when we talking about, of course, women, that's adults. Um, a lot of women understand that pussy is power. Like, so they already know, like, essentially they're born with value, and then when they become a woman, like, it's up to them to maintain it, essentially. But value is nothing that the world looks at women at and says, "Oh, you have to build this from the ground up." Like, everybody's going to automatically kiss the ground that women walk on, so they know that they're highly praised, highly valued, and essentially some women have a little wiggle room and leeway to move around and get whatever they want in life. This is why we have things like pretty privilege and certain other privileges that women can use to their advantage, essentially. So they definitely understand the value that they automatically already have.
Okay. Another thing she said in that audio was that she realized that she gave her body to a lot of men that didn't deserve it. And before I read the statement, I just want to say this. As someone like her that has been lucky enough to, you know, have these sexual experiences with, tens of high profile men, um, I think if anything, she's the one. Big Z, I'm not working today, Big Z. I'm not working today, Big Z. And I also just secured another position, bigger bags. But anyways, um, Division. So what I was saying is that I personally think that she's the one that needs to be appreciative. She's the one that needs to be grateful that these high profile men were even entertaining her to the point that they gave her access to their body. Um, but being that they're high profile men, I find it very interesting that she could say that some of these guys didn't deserve access to her. When first of all, she didn't have the pure intentions for them to start off with either. Like she was trying to come up off of all these men. And in a way, she did make a name off of being with all these men. not having talent, not having skill, but just being known, just Noble in Minneapolis and Division in Chicago and Rebel in Arizona. We know who Brittany Renner is. So the second statement is women control access to sex. So whether a man quote unquote deserved to sleep with them or not, they wanted to sleep with him. So saying he didn't deserve it is BS. True or false?
True. And I say true because we already know, like, when it comes to sex, it's not a fair trade between men and women. Like, you don't give up, like, a woman don't look like, her giving up coochie is like an equivalence to her getting penis. Typically it's like, okay, you give it up coochie and you're getting a financial gain, essentially. Like, they want a man to provide a certain lifestyle for them. They want a man to carry them through life a certain way, and like we just talked about, she got a certain benefit from it. She's known now from sleeping with these men. So if she felt like the equal or equivalence to her giving up some cat was just gonna be penis strictly, then she wouldn't be worried about being famous and making a name for herself. But she strictly knew that giving up that cat was gonna have her on the scene and have her well known, which she reached her goal or whatever. So it's like, if you're in control of that and you know that they're not an equal trade, and you getting more out of it, essentially, that could carry you on in life and have longevity to it, then you can't say that that's BS, essentially, because you were the one that controlled that. Because at any given moment, you could have said, access denied, no, I'm not going to sleep with you. So if you made that decision, put yourself in that situation, how could you backtrack then and say, oh, that's BS? That's what you chose to do.
I agree with you. So third statement is a lot of women love, and keyword love. A lot of women love having casual sex and participating in hookup culture. True or false?
A lot of women love, you said, participating in casual sex and hookup culture.
Yes.
Mm, Yeah, I would say yeah. I think that's everybody, honestly. Like, I don't know. This is a new day and age where hookup culture is just. I don't want to prejudge. I don't want to judge anybody. So if you're listening, like, I don't want you to feel personally attacked. But me personally, I just think it's sick. Like, I don't know why people are not valuing relationships anymore and stuff like that. Why it's just like, oh, let's just get a quick nut or whatever. But since we specifically talking about women, I would say then yeah, they're a contribution to that. So yeah, they definitely do indulge in like this hookup culture, and they like casual sex. A lot of them are afraid of commitment as well. What I'm seeing too, like, they kind of want that cake and eat it too, essentially, or they want that lifestyle. They want to be able to be flown out. They want a Birkin. They want this. They want that. But they don't want to necessarily fully commit. They want to be able to have this man, that man, that man. They want to be able to have a backup. Or if Johnny could take me somewhere on Monday, I want Bill to take me there on Tuesday. I want Frank to take me there on Wednesday. Like they this like this obsession with like living a fast life. And anybody who knows me knows I don't like generalizing. So I don't want to say that this is all women or the majority, but from my personal experience, what I've seen is like that's what a lot of this young generation especially is doing. Like, these women are so obsessed with just, and it's scary because I didn't even know that at first. I thought, the way that I look at women is like they delicate, they value relationships and shit like that. No, I have my own personal encounter with a girl I was talking to, and it's like she told me out her mouth like she wanted to, kind of just like dibble and dabble sexually, and I mean, it threw me off a little bit. I'm like, what the hell? But like, yeah, a lot of these women are definitely doing it in today's day.
So fourth statement is a woman taking accountability for her past actions and trying to portray herself as a reformed hoe is not going to make her be seen in a better light in the eyes of most men, and damn sure not a wife. True or false?
Where you said a woman taking accountability for her actions of being a hoe, basically.
Yes.
No, I mean, the dirt is done. What's done is done. So I mean, you can take all the accountability you want. That don't make niggas unfuck you. So essentially, like, like I said, the damage is already done. You already, that car already been driven. The miles is on there. I mean, it is what it is. So it's like, if you find somebody lucky enough that it's like, all right, cool, I'll settle with you and take on all that baggage and take on all that weight that you got coming with you. That's a lucky situation. But I don't know why they would think that immediately just taking accountability is going, be a little slope that they can slip through and be like, oh yeah, well this is gonna immediately make me more valued or make me like have higher chances with these men in marriage. Like no.
Facts. Facts. I agree with you. She said, come on now, Miles. No, Miles.
Yeah,
Miles.
like it don't make no sense, and I don't understand why. Like, it's like we can't. It's no book to life essentially, and everybody got their own path. But it's like you have to really. That's why it's important to really consider the decisions that you make in the midst of them. Like, you can't just be out here because a lot of people, especially like what I see in today's society, women for this sexual liberation. Like, you got to understand what comes behind it. So it's not all about just quickly, just doing what I want to do because I want to do because I'm free, and then when you wake up one day and realize, damn, like now I'm regretful. I should never did all that. Or I see I can't, get into certain relationships or a marriage because of it. Now it's not like, oh well, let me just take accountability real quick and that's the reset button. Like, hell no, this shit don't work like that. Like you gotta if you want to be sexually liberated or you even curious about it, think about the aftermath. Think about the effects. Think about what you may want to do long term. And if you truly is not gonna give a fuck long term, hey, fuck it, we ball. But if you know in your head that's something that you might end up wanting to consider it, then it's like, well, don't just jump the gun on that. Cause again, once that car is driven off the lot, down the street, went on a road trip, and out the country, that you're done for. That's it.
And Rebel, what did you say earlier? Rebel, speak on that thing you said fast money comes with
Oh
slow.
yeah. Uh, fast money comes with slow problems, right? You pushing all that weight, you make the money real quick, but when the feds come, you do 20 years in prison. And like you said, now when you get out of prison, you're still going to have problems getting a job, getting an apartment, getting a car, getting a loan, just anywhere. So these females out here, thought bopping on the internet, they spread an eagle on OnlyFans for 19.95 plus shipping and handling. That's just going to follow them everywhere they go. There's been videos of chicks on TikTok. They say they had some job interviews or something, and then the companies done did a internet research thing, and they found their OnlyFans account. They found their Instagram account where they're spread booty, spread eagle, doing all these promiscuous pictures. So it follows you. So all that fast money you're getting while you're young, the guys are, flying you out here and there in all these countries we can't pronounce, it's gonna follow you sooner or later. You see Brittany Renner, all that fast money that she got when she was in her 20s, now it comes with slow problems in her 30s and 40s.
The problem is though, it's nothing wrong with fast money. The problem is there's no education behind the fast money. If you're going to get fast money, at least be educated to invest it somewhere or have a backup plan essentially for that money to be going into something like, get some fast money and get you an Airbnb property. Get some fast money and get you a car and put it on Toro. Get you some fast money and like, just get you something that you can make that money multiply legally. But like, if you just getting the fast money and living within the moment and think that that's gonna be consistent and forever, then 100%, like I agree with what you're saying because I actually just seen somebody the other day that I know, they was talking about this. Like a lot of big corporations actually look up people and look into this type of shit, and it's like that's why they're not hiring a lot of the like youth and like bringing them into the corporations because they see that everybody got OnlyFans, everybody on Twitter. Everybody out here, doing this and that. Like, don't nobody care about their image for real. So it's like if you're gonna take that risk and that leap or whatever, just make sure you got some quick another like rock that you could kind of jump on essentially to start making that income multiply legally.
Look. When you said division, when you said there's nothing wrong with getting fast money, I think it depends on how you are getting the fast money. Like, listen, ladies, let me tell you something.
Facts.
Let me tell you something, ladies. If you want to be on OnlyFriends, getting facials, getting bukakis, slobbing on knobs, you know, you know, getting your bonnet knocked off. You know what I'm saying? If you wanna
Not the bonnet.
do that, if you wanna do that, and you wanna be on Reddit, and you wanna be on the hub, and you wanna be a woman that like when a man could like literally go on Twitter or go on the internet and like see video of you engaging in these acts. When you don't want to do that anymore, do not think that men are going to look past that. They are not going to look past that. Okay, like that is something that you are going to live with forever. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys how this works, okay? It's no different from the woman that she goes to the strip club for the first time, and her whole objective is, I want to get X amount of money, and once I get X amount of money, then I'm a like get out of the game, and I'm gonna go do exactly I'm gonna use this money and invest into what I actually want to invest to, like Devin said, whether it be an Airbnb property, whether I want to start a boutique, whether I want to just do something with this money that I could make passive income with. But you start realizing, like, damn, this stuff really coming in. So 1 year goes by. Now it's 18 months later, and you still getting this money, and it's like, you never get satisfied. So you go on OnlyFriends for the first time, and you're not getting facials, you're not getting bukakis. You know what I'm saying? You're not slobbing on nobody's knob. You're not getting your black bone out. You might just be posting bikini pictures. You might just be playing with yourself. You might just be doing the smallest stuff. But now you getting messages, and the dude's like, send me this and I'm gonna send you $400. And another dude's like, do this and I'm gonna give you this amount of money. So next thing you know, you're just you like doing stuff that you didn't plan to do originally, all because of money. Like I said, you never get satisfied. You can never have enough. And now you're at the point where you are getting facials, and you are getting bukakis, and you are getting your back blown out, and you are getting your bonnet knocked off. But that wasn't your intentions at first. So just be mindful of what you're getting yourself into, and be careful. Because like I said, everything we do has consequences, positive and negative. And yes, you are going, some of this stuff is like you damn near a felon. You can't get it wiped off your record. So just
Oh,
be
and
mindful of what you're doing.
two quick things. We all saw that black chick on TikTok who's what was she? She was just dissing black men. They pulled them all up. When I mean all of it, they got all of it from 10, 12. Bruh, she was on ghetto gaggers. She was taking 2 or 3 sausages. She was getting her back blown out. They was pulling. She on this app fighting for
Who?
her life.
Who? Who?
She
Where's the
fighting for
Where's the
her.
link? Where's the link?
Just search it up on Twitter. It's
Somebody
everywhere.
somebody
She's
dreadhead just put it in the chat.
she fighting for her life on
It's
this app
literally
right
this
now.
black woman. Is literally this black woman that's probably in her late 30s that like be talking crazy about black men. They found out that she got like a child, a young boy by a white man, and yes, like Rebel said, they got all her past history. She's literally on the hub. She's on ghetto gaggers, like Rebel said, taking 2, 3 at one time, like literally taking one in one hole, one in the other hole, giving another person head, like just doing the craziest stuff. Like now you look crazy. That stuff does not go away. So if there's
With
anyone
multiple
in here
videos.
right now that you're in that lifestyle, good
And
luck to you.
also, one quick point, right? Last point. The kids. What about the kids? Because we know kids have no morals, they have no ethics, they don't give a fuck about anything. They don't give a damn. They will flame you. Oh, I see. My dad has pictures of your mom's butthole, and they gonna flame little Jaquarius at school so bad. He's gonna come home crying. What are you gonna do? You gonna shame the kids and to not make fun of them? And guess what? They're gonna make fun of them even more because you said something to not make fun of them.
Yeah, so you saying like be mindful when people got kids and they doing stuff like that?
You need to be mindful before you have kids, because if you end up having kids in the future, like that stuff not gonna go away. Like you gonna be at school, and somebody gonna pull up a video of your mom.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
one quick point about that. And also, I was telling Noble this earlier that if you got your little lonely fans or whatever, and the PTA board finds out about it, you might get your kid kicked out. One mom got her son kicked out or her daughter kicked out of school because of it. The other mom saw it, they didn't like it, so they kicked out the kid from the school.
Wait, why though? Like, what does that have to? That's weird.
Because I think it was like a Catholic or Christian school, and they did, and doing that type of work doesn't line up with their morals and values. So they're like, "Nah, we don't want that," because that does look crazy. You're going to a PTA meeting, And you're like, what? And then you look at it like this, right? All the guys and the parents, and then one mom's over here slobbing on salamis, and you're like, oh, I don't want my kid around that type of person, even though she may not be nothing wrong with it. It's just the look of it, the perception of it,
Right.
and it being a
So
Christian
I see,
school,
I
they
see.
don't want that. I'll go for
Okay,
it.
so I see the whole thing as far as like I see the whole thing as far as like if it's public or whatever, but to go to the extent of removing a child as if
Yo,
can y'all hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Wait, my bad. This thing popped up on my phone. Okay, so I say I understand the whole thing as far as like maybe it being public or whatever. However, to remove the child from the school, because they're saying like, oh, it's a Christian school. First of all, how do they think all them Christian kids ended up in that Christian school? Like, are they saints? They indulge in sexual activity. So it's like. I find it ridiculous for them to literally like have sex or be doing stuff in the bed to give birth and have these kids that's in these Christian schools and then remove a child just because of what they mother did. Like I understand maybe the whole image and perception. Maybe if the grown adult her job removed her or something for her putting it out publicly, but then to remove the child and say like, oh, this is not a reflection of who we are, blah blah blah, all that. That's why religion is hypocritical. Because how are you going to remove a child from the school for something that y'all literally do behind closed doors? It don't matter if it was public or not. Y'all still do it. So it's like that's why humans
But
are
they didn't
backwards.
record it and put it on the internet.
Right.
Listen,
That's
man,
what I'm talking
But
about.
life's not
that's why
fair.
I
Let's
said
just
they
be
shouldn't
real.
have went to the extent though of removing a child. That's why I said if she would have gotten fired from her job from it, understandable. But removing a child based off of what the mother did, and then essentially these kids are in this school because their parents had sex and shit like that. This is not an out of sight, out of mind type thing. We know what happens when kids are born. You need to have sex to do so. So I feel like that was very far fetched for them to remove the child for that.
Hey, man, you just gotta take the consequences with it, man. Good or bad, irrational, irrational, fair or unfair. This is what she did. Now she has to take whatever comes with it.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know. That's a
it.
little weird.
I hear what you're saying, Division, but like Rebel said, if it's some Christian Catholic school or whatever, and like it's on the internet, like I don't know, man. Like I see what you're saying because you're like, damn, why is the kid like basically suffering at the expense of what their mother did? But like Rebel said, like that's what it comes with. Like that's what it comes with. It is what it is. Like whether you like it or not, that's what they decided to do. So
I don't even think it's a is what it is type of situation because it's like that's why I'm saying like it shouldn't be that because maybe that's something that could potentially be like fixed or taken out of like the regulations of everything because like imagine that follow you too that same kid grow up and imagine like that kid is y'all and like y'all get older, y'all hard workers, dedicated, y'all go get into a university, and then like this video of your mama pop up or whatever, and it's like the university saying, well, we gonna kick you out based off of a video your mama got. At that point, it's like they ain't got shit to do with me. Like that's something the whole nother grown individual chose to do. Like, why am I being held accountable for something that another adult chose to do?
it might not have anything to do with you directly, but that institution or that company, that corporation, that business, they just might not want to be associated with certain things. And if they don't want to be associated with certain things, they're gonna they're gonna course correct and move accordingly. So
Listen, association bias, man. Associate. They're gonna associate that with you, and also you already know how it is. No, but you work with these like, corporate upper level people.
mhm.
They don't want no problems. They don't want no issues. They don't want no bullshit. They don't want no mess. The second that shit pop up, even though it has nothing to deal with you, they just don't want to deal with it all. They're like, oh, nope, nope, we're good. But it's not, no, no, that might leak out. Someone might try to do something. We don't feel like doing the press. We're good. Have a nice day. They just don't even want
I
to deal
wanna
with it.
I wanna like shine a light a little bit because I've like dug into a bit like did a little research and just have heard personal stories and stuff. Now I understand and I'm in full agreement with what y'all saying as far as like when you put out certain things you got to accept consequences that come from it, et cetera, et cetera. But this all literally proves how life itself and a lot of this shit is hypocritical because a lot of these big corporations and shit, believe it or not, they partake in, sex trafficking things, very like predatorial type of situations. So it's like for them to be holding people accountable for what they put out in the public, but behind closed doors, they're literally indulging in the same thing. That's a little ass backwards to me.
But I mean, shoot, whatever they do or don't indulge in, at the end of the day, it's the person that's applying to the entity and trying to get paid from the entity. So the person is the person has to get with their program, and they get to make the rules at the end of the day. And if the person doesn't want to be subjected to whatever their rules are, then they got to keep it pushing or go elsewhere.
No,
But
for sure. I agree with you. I'm just pointing out how that's fucked up though. Like people being hypocritical, like that's crazy. Like the fact that they really do the same thing, but like try to hold these people accountable like they saints or whatever. So like I agree with you. Like if you come to somebody else's house, you gotta follow their rules, play by their game or whatever. But it's a
exactly.
little fucked up though. That it's like you around your house and you pouring soda on your carpet and leaving your drawers there. Well, but when I step up in here, you tell me be almighty clean. Like I don't know.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
The draws.
Nah, that's how it if you want to change it, you have to make your own and control it. That's what I'm saying. Young Fargo. That's what I'm saying. You like it's basically what I mean. I was gonna say it too, but it's basically what division like, bro. If you go to somebody else's house, you gonna oblige by the rules that they have in their house. You're not gonna walk into somebody's house and you see the doormat and just or they got a carpet. You're not gonna take your shoes off or like you're not just about to go in somebody's fridge or somebody else's cabinet. Like you're just not gonna do that.
No real. And it's crazy because I had just like when the last girl was up there talking, I was scrolling on Instagram and I had just had came across the video of her talking like in that interview, Brittany or whatever. And just like it's one thing to hear audio, but then when you see somebody face like the expressions of them trying to like, I guess simp in a sense, like try to give that or make it seem like they really really apologetic for they actions. It's like I feel you, but at the end of the day, like you made your bed, now you gotta lay in it. Shit.
Saying it exactly. Like, bro, it's no like no. You listen, man. Ladies, if you choose, listen. I always tell y'all when we having these different conversations, pick a side and stay there, man. You cannot. This is not double dutch, man. This is not jump rope. You cannot try to double dutch and do all this other stuff. No, you pick a side. You got to stay there and accept what comes, accept what consequences come with the side that you choose to pick.
So what was the old girl, the one that was up here? What was she advocating for? Like she was advocating for change or whatever. Like people could change and like that Brittany should be forgiven and shit.
I don't want to say she was saying. Well, I don't want to say that she was saying that she should be forgiven, but she was basically saying like, you know, because I know her. Like she was saying, like, Noble, you should have more understanding because she's like life experiences is what make us see the world differently. So yeah, she may have been doing what she's been doing before. So, but now she is a single mother. So now she has a different perspective on things. So you should be understanding of that. Now I'm not saying that she's like, that's why she's saying, like, you're obviously not gonna wipe up a woman like that, and a lot of men won't, but you should at least be able to understand why she's saying what she's saying. And my whole thing was like, well, it doesn't really seem genuine and it's white noise at the end of the day. So why is she saying it to start off with? Like, you're only saying it you've thrived off of having a certain perception and narrative around yourself, but you're not thriving off of that anymore, so now you want to change the narrative and you want to change the perception of yourself. No, like some people.
Oh, so like now that's important because you said like she not thriving off of it, so she basically trying to use it to her leeway, like be apologetic to use it to her advantage. So do you feel like a woman who is genuine about it and being genuinely apologetic should get a second chance, essentially, and that be like a lesson and a stepping stone for her, or do you just think the women that like try to use that sorrow type of play to their advantage, that those the ones that shouldn't be forgiven?
Look, what even if Brittany or another woman was being forgiven, like dog, like it's spilled milk, bro. It's spilled milk, like bro, like what we like. Okay, cool, like. Okay, like bro, okay, like somebody like go like I don't know. Bro, it's spilled milk at the end of the day. Like it's nothing to talk about. Like you like like ignorant like these like this is nothing. These women be knowing what they're doing. Like when you were doing what you were doing, you knew what you were doing. And you knew what the consequences were. You knew what the consequences were, and you still decided to do it. Unfortunately, like I said, you've been thriving all these years. You've been monetizing it. You've been benefiting off of it. And now, when you're not able to do that at the level you were able to do that before, now you're trying to change your tone and just you're trying to do the same thing just on another side of the spectrum now. Like no, so even if a woman was being genuine, that's cool, that's cute. But for this specific thing that we're talking about, men still not gonna want to like deal with you like that. No, you're the fun girl. As
And
Rebel
I
like
think,
for recreational use.
see, I think this conversation too is the reason why in today's society, even when we talk about the whole body count conversation, the first thing typically a woman to say is, well, how will they know anyway? You can lie, like people can, and they be like, oh, well, that don't mean I'm a lie, but you really can lie. So it's not the fact that they want to just hold themselves accountable and actually like work to a place of basically self control and actually not be out here indulging sexually. You know what I'm saying? A lot, they just want to be able to either be accepted for it or get away with it. So since we having these conversations, essentially now they gonna look at it as like, okay, well, if I know I don't want to end up in the same situation as Brittany, let me just be a little bit more sneaky with it because you know what I'm saying, what a person don't know won't hurt them. So it's like, damn, when is like certain women gonna just take that accountability and be like, well, let me just have a little bit more self control, self respect for myself instead of trying to be sneaky and move around and not be exposed for something or not try to be accepted for something that's essentially will bite me in the butt in the future.
But division, this is my thing though. If you want to be a hoe, like be a hoe, but like be discreet about it.
But that's what I'm saying though. They that's what I'm saying. It's either one or two things. They want to be accepted for it out loud, or they gonna sneak around and do it. But there, it's not really a lot of them saying, "Well, I'm not just gonna, cool in the state of myself."
Rebel, what you think about that? Do you what do you think about them like still being a hoe but being discreet about it, or should they just not be a hoe at all if they because listen, do what you want to do at the end of the day. Like it's your body, right? Your body, your choice. So if you want to spread yourself thin, spread yourself thin. But like don't be spreading yourself thin like with everybody in the same city or a lot of people in the same social circles. Like, you
So
And
know,
being
being
a
as
hoe, being
discreet
a
three
hoe,
or four.
being a hoe is not all. It's not just about, oh, if a person knows or not. That literally affects the relationships that you encounter in the future, and not even just romantic, but sometimes just platonic. Like you being a hoe and just constantly moving, that might create commitment issues. Like you might not really be able to ever commit yourself to somebody. That might create sexual issues to where you can never truly be aroused or pleased properly, or reach that climax since you're, constantly moving from body to body to body to body. So
Here
even if
comes
it's a
trouble.
thing of like it being a secret or not, it still will essentially create problems. I just think that that's something that if a woman is essentially a hoe, like work on that and, don't put yourself in a position to be one, like be integral and not be one at all.
and let me say something real quick, Division. You talked about the whole not being satisfied. Because when I've had little conversations on here about like women not being able to climax, because a large percentage of women are saying that they're not able to climax, when it comes to sex, when they have like through intercourse with men. And I always say that I always talk about how I feel like women are using toys a lot and becoming desensitized to like men in a sense in that manner. But like, a
OG
lot of
naysayer.
when it comes to hoes though, when it comes to hoes, like, when you've taken pipe from Ladarius, when you've taken pipe from Davion and Keontae and Jamonte and all these different guys, like a lot of these women, they be like the next guy that they with, like they want him to like live up to whoever. Let's say Ladarius laid pipe the best. They measuring you up with Ladarius. So if you don't lay pipe like Ladarius or better, you know they can't even get off. But they really can't get off because they've been with all these different guys. So like yeah, when you talk about the whole like just not even being able to be pleased like sexually, that's why there's no benefit in dating or marrying a hoe. Like, is there any benefit to it, Rebel? Like,
Yes, I mean you're gonna get some of the best sex you probably ever gonna get.
I would say she could smuggle a salami, right? And since she's been passed around more than a cigar, she's been ran through more times in the Holland Tunnel. She probably knows a bunch of dudes, so you can probably get into a bunch of places. And since a bunch of dudes smashed her, they can be like, "Hey, you hit Brittany? Yeah, hey, hey, did she do that thing? Yeah, yeah." You get to know, but that's about it. A little arm candy, and that's where it pretty much ends.
I mean, honestly, just to piggyback off of Nate, no, it's not really no benefit. I know you probably said it as a joke as far as the sex being good, but essentially, like, that's just we talking about like long term for marriage and stuff like that. No, because it's like it's more to a marriage and long term relationship than just sex. So it's like if that's the only thing you could really offer, anywhere between 10 minutes to an hour, no.
Three
I mean, that's
minutes.
kind of a lot of reasons that people, do bop around from dude to dude because if you get with somebody that ain't putting it down like that, then it's like, okay, do I want to be married to this man for the next 50 years and he's not putting no work in?
but Nate, look, Nate,
Look,
you
wait, real quick, no, but real
go
quick.
ahead.
On average, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, and this is like personal conversations I've had with people. People would rather take the good, personality and kind-hearted person than just, a person that they can actually connect with over a real good sexual partner. They would rather settle for, medium sex or even like just try to work on leveling up with the sex than just taking a person who just not nothing, can't offer them nothing, they can't have a connection with, but best sex in the world. So that's why to a lot of people, especially married couples, like you'll hear people saying like it don't have to be the best in the world. Like I don't think people are marrying based off of just the sex got to be A1.
And Nate, like you talk about the whole well, if I get with a man that and he not putting it down correctly, then I'm not gonna want to be with that anyways. But like a woman that has like a lower body count, a woman that hasn't been with like even like 3 4 guys, like she's not gonna have a lot of stuff to like base a man off of. Like I said, when you have Ladarius and Keontae and Jamonte and Davion to compare to, so now this guy that is a loving, caring, compassionate guy to you and is a very nice guy and probably be the best partner, you automatically not liking him now. You're not liking him as much because you didn't feel like he piped you down the right way. Like women do that all the time. Like they'll actually like a
Wait,
guy, but when they sleep with him and it's not up to par to what they want it to be. Now all of a sudden they don't like him anymore simply because he didn't pipe them down good enough, at least to them.
Well, then I
Yeah.
also get the other side of it too, where I hear women say that, they were married for X number of years and the sex was trash. And, that was kind of one of those moments where they were like, yeah, this person is a great person, but if you can't like connect mind, body, and soul, you kind of losing out. If you just connected with the mind, you losing the body and the soul. If you just connected with the soul, you losing the mind and the body. Like it's just there has to be some healthy balance. Now, I'm not saying like for medium grade, if you're giving like C plus, if you're giving C plus dick, okay, I feel like you can get work with. They can work with you because they can tell you, what to do, how to do it. But there's also that flip side of that where some men don't want to receive that, positive reinforcement or critique in the bedroom because that lowers their self-esteem and which will make sex worse. So it's a really difficult subject. I've just heard a lot of women that are married, um that plan to be married. I got some friends that's thoughts, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing it from all different perspectives of women, and for the most part you don't have to be like amazing, but you do gotta like be workable. You gotta be moldable. if you not someone who has a lot of experience. Now, I agree with you, Noble, when you say that, these women have low body counts, so they don't know what to expect. I've personally experienced that. When I lost my virginity, to a pinky winky. That's all we're gonna say. Now, me not knowing what it was like or what it was supposed to be like, I was thinking like, oh, this is like, it's all right. And
Exactly.
then I got with someone else and I was like, well, damn, I
Right.
was missing out on that.
It's the same for
So
men. And
yeah.
division. I'm gonna let you rebuttal to her, and then I'm gonna get into the question. But like, it's the same for men too. Like, when you first lose your virginity, or like when you're early, like in your sexual life, and you're getting your first couple or a few partners, but at least for the ones that you can remember, you start, there is like a little comparison, like who was the most nastiest, or which one felt the most, which one was the wettest, or which one was the most warm, like so it happens for men too. But go ahead, division, go ahead, rebuttal, bro.
So, when you said like people had told you personally that, oh, like couples, they were married for years and then they divorced because the woman said, oh, the sex just wasn't that good. I feel like that's complete BS. And honestly, they probably just use that as an excuse to not take accountability as to why the marriage fully didn't work. Because if you manage to stay with somebody for X amount of years, or a long duration of time, and you say that sex is the reason why y'all broke up, you obviously had managed to deal with it and maintain it all that time. So it's like, why now would you end the divorce based off of these bases? That's like me walking in the restaurant, ordering, eating everything and cleaning the plate, and then telling the manager like, oh well, my food wasn't hot enough. I literally ate everything on the plate. So it's like, how could I complain now and say, well, this is the reason why I want a refund? That's ass backwards essentially. So if they tell you that, they please like look deeper into them as people, because they cannot take accountability.
No, and
Okay,
I get what you're
division.
saying.
Can I
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
wait? Can I just like correct him on this? So you said like all of a sudden. So what happens is men will use weaponized incompetence. What that means is basically the woman in a relationship, their wife, will slowly turn into this just norm of a caregiver. She will slowly become a new picture of what his mother is. When that happens, women will lose all of sexual attractiveness that they have to you. That's when sex goes downwards in relationships. And this happens more and more often. You see all the time men who have lived alone for like let's say 5 to 10 years before getting married, but as soon as they do get married, all of a sudden they don't know how to do the laundry, they don't know how to mop the fucking floors, and they're constantly putting their woman in this position of being their caregiver, which, yes, women are caregivers naturally, but your wife should not be your mother. And that's when sexual connection loses itself in those marriages and relationships. So when you say, like, oh, it comes from nowhere, it's not from nowhere. It's a buildup that happens over years and years and years. So
Okay,
I
so
just want to see.
two things to that. For one, if you act like, especially when they said that these women are telling her that, they're saying the D is not good. So they didn't expound on that, and they didn't say, oh well, I felt like I was taking the role of his mother, or I felt like I lost sexual connection based off of XYZ. They literally just said the sex wasn't good. So take it for what it is, and I understand you tried to like take that and expand maybe, but you tried to expand on something that's literally not there. If we're taking it for what it is and what she's saying, the women are telling her strictly that the sex is not good, there's nothing more to pick from that, but the sex just was not good, as if you had just a hookup one night with somebody and the sex wasn't good. So there's no excuse to say why somebody would stay with somebody for years and then maintain that sex, then all of a sudden say the reason why I ended this marriage is because the sex is not good. Secondly, anybody who knows me know any platform I get on, especially Nova's, like big advocate for women or whatever. So when you started off your sentence or whatever, I don't, it's kind of not good to try to make women seem
seem like they're these weak-minded individuals, like they don't have a voice or they cannot easily communicate. If she felt like the sex wasn't good years prior, she would have, voiced that and said, I'm not feeling this. The sex is not good. I think we should end this relationship. But don't try to make it seem like women are these weak individuals and that they're just going to be easily manipulated and they got to go years and years and years just to leave, just for their excuse or reason and to be the sex was not good. That's BS.
Well, I kind of partially agree because I mean, that's what I said just to keep it short. I mean, but there's like a lot of lead up to that being the end point. So, because these women were married, in their minds, sex was not the most important thing about their marriage. But the problem was is there was a lot of other factors that would happen. So like for instance, I guess when this is just one lady in general, when she had first got married, they were having sex very frequently. It was good, but over time, it started to dwindle down, it became less and less, even after she requested to have more of it. And, that kind of led them to have can't say the word, irreconcilable differences. So, even though there wasn't like any major problems in their relationship, that was something that was for her something that she needed to be connected to her husband, and he was not giving her that. Now, other women that I've heard that are married and that had that same issue, it was more so that when they got with them, they had low body counts. They didn't know what to expect out of it. They were just excited to be married because they felt that that's what women should do, that, people were pushing them, you're getting older, you need to get married. And so they did. And they got married to the first dude that would drop down on me and propose, but not giving themselves the opportunity to make sure he was the exact man that they wanted. Now, we can't just walk up to men on the street and be like, hey, let me see your thing. You know what I mean? So there's only so many ways that we can get that kind of information, and that's usually through sexual contact. And if you're not trying to marry this man after seeing it was whack, then you just move on to the next. And even though that might not be good for whatever future that you plan, we also have to remember there's a lot of women now, and it's growing, that some women don't even want to get married anymore. Sometimes people just want a life partner. So I mean, I get what you're saying in that there has to be something more going on, but that doesn't have to necessarily be it. Always. It could be like, for me personally, when I was married, I would work so much that when I came home and still had to do the household duties, I would be so exhausted that I would not be able to do that. And so
So
over time, that would wear on somebody.
So,
so
but when I was saying though is even how you said like, okay, there were other factors and stuff. My point is when it's being delivered or this is being told, especially what we talking about within the conversation, is strictly about performance of sex itself, not what other factors is a string to it
Right.
essentially. So if a person is telling you, like you saying you having these conversations, whatever factors that they having, essentially they still the end result was they told you they left the marriage because the sex was not good. They never expanded on it and said, well, I left because I felt like I was being treated like this. I left because when I came home from work, there just wasn't enough time, because that's a whole different conversation at that point. But if we going just strictly off the basis of they left because the performance, the sexual performance was not good, that's a bit weird, and I don't feel like that's truthful, because how do you stay with somebody for years and you do this thing so excuse me, you do this thing every so often, but then all of a sudden one day it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the courthouse, sign these papers, go through this whole process, and end my entire marriage because this performance is not hidden. That doesn't make sense. So my point was, if they're telling you that strictly the reason why they're leaving is because the performance is not there, that's a lie. And 9 times out of 10, they don't want to take the accountability for why the marriage actually ended.
Right.
Okay, I agree. But then on the flip side of it, why do people stay in relationships just because the sex is good then?
Because that's why they want to stay in it.
Right. So why not be able to leave for the exact same reason?
Okay, so if you want to leave, then okay. First of all, how are you getting? I'm sure. I think we can agree that most people going into 2023 are not only not getting married as virgins, but they're getting married to people that they've had sex with before. So it's not like most people is not getting married to each other, not having had sex before. So not only did you get married to somebody that you weren't enjoying the sex with, you have been married to this person for at least 10 plus years. And like Division said, this is something that you do every so often. So now all of a sudden, after all this time, now all of a sudden it's a problem. Why wasn't it a problem 10 years ago, Dan? How did y'all even get married if it wasn't hidden how you wanted to hit in the first place?
Well, if you were a virgin going into the marriage, you would not know the difference. All it takes is you playing with yourself for a little bit to gain that experience, to know your body and to know what you like as a person. And if the person is no longer doing that, or you realize that the person is no longer doing that, and you're staying in that marriage for years because, you're, I don't know, whatever ideas you come up with, like he's a good person, he's a hard worker. I mean, that might be enough for a lot of people to stay a long time.
So you would throw away a perfectly good marriage with a perfectly good man that treats you right, respects you, does everything you want. Let's say he even does the laundry and all that other bullshit you guys want, right? And because the sex is not up to par what you wanted, you're just gonna say fuck it, throw it away, get a divorce, break the home, fuck it.
If
Like
that's
Okay,
that's
the
what I'm
can
saying.
I
That's why I said
Wait,
that's
wait,
what it
wait,
is.
wait, wait,
wait,
wait.
wait.
Hold on, Division. Let her answer that question.
Yeah, no, if
Wait.
that's her
So
choice, if she's no
Wait,
longer
wait, wait,
happy,
please, wait. Please don't interrupt. I want her to answer that question. 1 second. Let her answer that question.
right? I mean, if you are no longer happy, it doesn't matter what the other person is doing. If you are no longer happy in the situation that you're in, why stay in it?
Okay.
Oh, so
So,
happy. So you're not happy. Happiness.
wait, can I just answer this? So the reason is like you can work on sex with your partner, right? It's not like you cannot get better. You can learn what your partner wants, what your partner likes, and vice versa. You can explore new things together. So when someone is not putting that energy into the relationship to work on something with you, that just like means that point blank period, they do not like you enough to do that for you. So why would you stay with someone like because if the communication is there, if you said to them like, "Hey, I'm not really liking this. I'm not enjoying myself. Can we work on this?" And he is not putting in the work after you've told him numerous times, like obviously that's going to create a larger issue and you will leave because of that because let's be honest, like sex is a huge part of every relationship and marriage. Like
yes,
it's a
man.
natural
Like
thing.
Man,
in response,
it shouldn't get to 10 years though. That
exactly. And
should
in
that
response
should
to
have been something that you was working on a long time ago.
exactly, and in response to
No,
like
I
what you were saying, Nate,
100% agree with that.
when you was like, oh, like if people are they're not happy, they're leaving, et cetera, et cetera. When you're critically thinking or critically making a decision or whatever, the process with that is typically you weigh the pros and cons, and whichever one outweighs the other, that's what you're going to go with. So nobody is just strictly leaving because it's like, oh, this doesn't make me happy. Typically it's like, let me weigh my pros, let me weigh my cons and see which one has the higher hand. So realistically, why would that one small con of the performance of a sexual act outweigh something as far as a family that they might have, good time that they might have, a good person that she has, they have a good bond. Like it just doesn't make sense.
I
But
got the answer, Division. I got the answer, and then Paulie. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, ma'am. I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna ask you these questions, then I'm gonna bring somebody else up here because I do want to get back to the questions. But it's Division. It's the reason why the divorce rate what it is, and it's the reason why women are the ones that are filing for divorce as high as they are filing for divorce. You can be this loving, caring, compassionate man. You can go to work. You can take care of your household duties. You can take care of your family, but they have women that the minute that they become unhappy, they're willing to throw that whole relationship away. And let's say you went into that marriage with assets, or you've obtained assets throughout the length of that marriage. Now I'm gonna like benefit from that as well. So stay far away from those women. Stay far away from bird brain, bimbo, shallow
so it's
like that.
literally irrational decision making at that point. Like,
Yeah, and then I'm gonna say it's irreconcilable differences. I just wasn't happy. So stay away from bird brain, bimbo, shallow minded women like that.
And real quick, I always hear this a lot, right? I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I wasn't happy. Like, come on now. We're adults. What are you, like a fucking 4-year-old toddler? You got to be happy all the time. Oh, I have a toy. I'm happy. I got to be happy all the time. If I'm not always happy, I can't be in this relationship, right? And then another thing, you guys talk about all this stuff being in a relationship. What are you going to sacrifice to be in that relationship? Because you're going to have to sacrifice something. The man is sacrificing his peace, quiet, and freedom, and a lot of money, right? And then another point you said, when you said, I don't feel like doing it because I'm tired. When that bill's due, can the man just go, you know what, babe? I don't feel like paying the bill. I'm tired. What about little Jaquavius when he needs braces and that bill's $3,000? Can the man just say, I don't feel like working 16 hours today. I'm tired, babe. I don't want to get the kids braces. What about when little Sally breaks her arm and the bill's like $7,000 after insurance? Babe, I don't feel like working 60 hours. I'm tired. Can the man say he's tired when he has a hold of his end of the bargain? No, he's not allowed to say he's tired. He just has to do it.
Yeah, that's a fact. And then
It's the fear of
let me say
commitment.
one more thing, and
It's
then,
the fear of
we need to get
commitment
back
and
to
fear
it.
of responsibility.
Let me say one more thing, and then we need. Let me listen. Let me tell you, women, something. Like you, women, that you're so critical of, men that you've engaged in, physical intimacy with in the past. Let me tell you, women, something. Okay, like because y'all are listen. You don't have the wettest coochie. Okay, you don't have the magic box. Okay, you don't give the best head. Okay, you don't throw it back the best. Like I know a lot of you women want to think these things, and but you're trash too, okay? Not because men don't tell you, you're trash too, okay? You've been ghosted before too. You've been ghosted before. It's a reason why that one man that you had sex with, when you hit him up later, and you either didn't hear from him, or he wasn't trying to be on that type of time with you anymore. That's why. Okay? So let me just in case nobody told you, I will be the one to tell you. So if you're wondering why those guys wasn't trying to be on that type of time with you anymore after the first time y'all did it, that's why. So when you want to be out here being so critical of men going forward, just know that they're being critical of you as well, okay? You're also being evaluated. So we're gonna get back to these questions. I'm gonna ask. I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it's Polly. I'm
It's
sorry for saying.
Paula. You can just say Paula.
Okay, Paula. I'm gonna ask you these questions, and then I'm gonna bring my guy. Then we're gonna go to Nate, and then we're gonna go to Cheryl, and then I'm gonna bring Marty up here. So